I'm James Stanger, and I'm recording on behalf of Team 3. Earlier this week, we met as part of our sprint review process, and we talked about a lot of different things that happened during this sprint. We came up with a lot of different documents and a lot of different conclusions that we would like to share with everybody. One of the things that we talked about, for some background, our project is a kitchen remodel. What we did with the kitchen is we kind of redid the entire kitchen. We put up drywall, we did flooring, countertops, cupboards, we did some more internal things such as electrical and plumbing, and we also updated a lot of the appliances that needed to be updated. We had a pretty definitive time schedule that we tried to stick to. We had some problems sticking to that during this sprint, which we discussed how to go along better in the future. We had a couple other things that we wanted to talk about as well, and I will hit on every single topic that we discussed in our sprint review meeting earlier this week. I am the representative for that meeting. One of the things that would like to stress, however, is the success of the project. We are completed with the project, and we are very happy with the results that we were able to come up with. Some of the issues that we ran into, we had a contractor that was very, very good. He is a very renowned contractor in the area, and we hired him because of his skills. It did mean a little bit more cost on our part. We did have to pay him quite a bit, but that was all well and good. The only problem that we really came up with was he is so in demand that our project kind of was put on his back burner a little bit, and we did fall behind schedule, as we will discuss in a little bit. We were able to solve this issue and were able to complete the project on schedule. And we will talk a little bit about how we overcame that issue this week. What we still have to do, we are very close. All the work has been completed. The only thing that we really need to do is have one more meeting about reviewing the entire project as a whole and going over what went well, what didn't go so well, and what we would do differently on our next project. So let's go into this a little bit deeper with some of our sprint notes. These are some of the things that were completed. Like I previously had mentioned, we completed the drywall. We replaced all of the drywall in the kitchen. It was pretty out of date, and we wanted to have a nice fresh look. We redid all of the flooring. It now has nice hardwood floors. We redid the countertops. Although it was rather expensive, we installed new countertops, granite countertops. And we also redid all of the cupboards, as the old ones were quite outdated and were in real need of some refurbishment. Some of the other things that we accomplished were more updating tasks. We updated all of the appliances, such as the dishwasher, and miscellaneous appliances such as the fridge that really needed some upgrades, and we did that. We also were able to update all of the plumbing and the electrical that were involved in the kitchen, and did have to do a little bit more outside of that so that it could plug into the rest of the appliances that were found around the house. However, we were able to get all of these things updated and completed within this sprint. This is our last sprint. We are completed with the project. So I'll go over some of the important bullet points that came up in the daily Scrum meetings, and these kind of were as results of our weekly meetings via email and follow-ups through Skype and things like that. The things that we talked about in our previous sprint review meeting that just happened earlier this week, we went over every single one of these weeks that had major things that happened, and we discussed how we could change them in future projects and things like this. So during week 2, all updates were completed. We were able to update all appliances and electrical and plumbing. Everything was completed by week 2, which was good. It was ahead of schedule, actually. However, when it comes to the actual renovation, there were some scheduling issues. This is where we came up with our solution to our contractor job. This is where that arose. We got in touch with the contractor, and he gave us a time period of 5 weeks to complete the project, because the drywall, flooring, and countertops had still yet to be implemented. We hadn't finished that at this point. The problem that we had run into, as I discussed earlier, is that he had a lot of different projects that were on his plate, and he didn't end up getting to ours until later. And so what we met during week 2 and talked about our proposed solutions. We said we would either contact the contractor and speed things up and get things to where our schedule needed to be, or we would change contractors and go with somebody else to complete the job. Fortunately, we were able to contact the contractor, and speed up the pace, and we were able to get a quote from him that would be well within our schedule. Looking back, we talked earlier this week about how that was a good move, as we were able to get the top quality of this contractor. We had already paid him. We would have been very far behind on our budget, so this was one of the things that we feel like we did very correctly in this proposed solution that we did that ended up working so that we could get our contractor to work with our schedule. Things looked up from there. Week 3, the drywall was completed. As I said previously in week 2, in week 3, the contractor really sped up the pace of the work. The schedule was completed. We were able to work with him within a 3-week schedule to get that going, and the schedule ended up being ahead of schedule at the end. Again, in week 3, one of the things that we discussed earlier in our sprint meeting this week, we discussed how that was a very good thing for our project, as it allowed us to get a top quality contractor within our budget and within our time schedule. So it was a very good thing that we did that. In week 4, things continued to look up. The flooring was completed, and we also did another analysis of our budget and noticed that the expected costs, our project budget actually went below our expected costs, which was really good. Our contractor was great, top quality, and we ended up spending less on materials than we thought we would have. So that went very well. Something that we looked into why that was a success earlier this week in our sprint meeting. We talked about how we compared prices and made sure that we were getting, of course, top quality materials. However, we made sure that we could get the quality that we wanted within the price that we wanted. And if we found a price that was lower even than we were expecting, maintaining quality, we went with the lowest price we could find, and we ended up with a very nice below expected cost budget and still top quality. Week 5, things continued to look up. The project was looking very good to be completed on time. The countertops were completed. The only thing that we really needed to do was, with us just as a team, the contractor was completely done. All we needed to do was detailing and finishing and putting the final touches on everything. And of course, sprint review and final project review. During week 6, we are proud to say that we did all project is complete. The appliances have all been updated and installed correctly. All work has been done on the drywall and the flooring, the countertops, things like that. The project completed actually 4 days ahead of schedule, and as I said before, the estimated costs, we were able to get our budget to be below that, and we are very happy about that success. We talked about this in our sprint meeting earlier this week with all of our team. We talked about the quality of our work. We made sure that the client was happy with the work. We made sure that everybody involved was satisfied. We made sure that the quality of the kitchen was meeting the specifications that we had previously mapped out, and things are going very well. Some other things that we talked about in our sprint review, we looked at this Nokia test and came up with some results about our processes in order to, as per Agile and Scrum methodologies, be always improving our processes. So we went and took a look at our team and our project as a whole earlier this week and came up with these following conclusions. As far as our iterations, we scored a 1, as we still do about a 6-week iteration period, and that is something that we are quite comfortable with, but might be able to improve in the future. Testing within the sprint, we are very confident about that. We, as it says here, we have a 7 on, I didn't explain that quite well. Over on the right hand side, we have our scores that we believe that we are up to, and then over here we have the questions about exactly what that score means. So number 2, we believe that we are very efficient with testing all of our new features as soon as they have been completed. We made sure that the contractor was testing things that he installed as he went along, and we also made sure that we involved the client as much as possible so that they were satisfied with everything that was going on. Number 3, the Agile specification. We talked about that one quite a bit as well. We are very satisfied with our user stories and that they are mapped to the proper specifications. Again, we worked very close in hand to the client, made sure that he was involved in all processes, and made sure that the client was always satisfied with the specifications and the quality of our project. The project owner, we are happy to say that our project owner is really good in this project. We believe that he gave a lot of specifications that we needed to do. He was very involved in the actual project itself and had this roadmap that is discussed in this question based on team velocity. And so we made sure that we were up to schedule and that the schedule was provided and constantly updated. So that was a thing that we really enjoyed from our review. The product backlog we put as a 7. We believe that the project backlog was always updated prior to our sprint meetings as per this qualification. We always had a sprint backlog, the proper product backlog, and also implemented sprint backlogs, which were very important to keeping our project on time, and also to make sure that we accomplished everything that we wanted to get done to the correct specifications. The estimates, we believe, were rather great. We believed that our errors were below 10%. We felt very confident about our own ability to estimate our budgets, scheduling, things like that. We did have that one incident with the contractor, but that was really the only time when we had any sort of estimate error, and were able to fix that quite promptly. Sprint burn down charts, we put at a 4, this being because we only talked about the only burned down the tasks that were completed. We made sure that to complete every task before doing a burn down chart, and that was something that we may be changing in the future, but we are quite comfortable with at this point. Team disruptions, we put at a 10 for obvious reasons. We have a very efficient and very Scrum related methodology when it comes to our team roles, and we are very happy about the way that is. And then the last question 9, we put that as a 9, and said that we made sure we always collaborated very well together. We did a lot of things to make sure that our project was on schedule, within budget, things like that. We had very good, clear definitions with our roles and made sure that everybody always knew what they were doing, and things were working very well with this project, actually. So these are the things that we discussed as per our section on the Nokia test. Okay, so another thing that we talked about was the only thing that we really have left to do, as I previously had mentioned, we want to go over one more time in a final meeting over our project to see what our team can do on the next project, that maybe things that didn't go so well during this project We want to talk about those things, such as the issue with the contractor and the schedule problems. And there was a time when we believed that our cost would be over our budget, and we would like to talk about those things, how we could better manage that in the future. Overall, the success of this project was quite great. We are very proud of our success rate and with what we were able to do. We are confident that the user got, or the client got, exactly what the client was hoping to get out of this project, and we were able to get that done in a very timely and efficient manner. So this is Team 3's project sprint review for the third iteration, and we are completed at this time with our project, and we are looking at this point for our next project, and we are really grateful for everything that has gone through this project. We are really, as I said, very satisfied with what we have done and are ready for the next project. So thank you everybody for watching. This has been James Stanger, and this has been Team 3's review of our sprint review. Thank you.